What's up, everybody? Today we're going to talk about the matchup everybody's been wanting on October the 12th. Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev. When we come right back. Welcome to another episode of Ring Walk Boxing Podcast. I am Bean, and we are live. You're going to be seeing more of these lives from here on out. So I'll be posting it on FB. So just set up a notification on your YouTube notification so that you can see when we're dropping something new and something new as far as a new episode or whatnot. All right, so let's get straight to this today. All right, so we got a big fight coming up, a unification bout between Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev. Both guys, if I'm not mistaken, have a Russian background, and they are two totally different style fighters, though. Way different style fighters. It's hard to put a style to Beterbiev. I always call him a ninja. I'll be making a lot of posts, and I'm kind of being like in a funny way, but like seriously, like he does a lot of chopping punches, but he breaks his opponent down, and he understands what he's doing every time, and that's why it's pretty self-explanatory. If you Google his knockout ratio, his knockout ratio is 100%. Even fighters like Wilder with a high knockout ratio, 90%. Mike Tyson, a high knockout ratio. Ernie Shavers, another knockout artist. But no knockout artist in the history of boxing has had a 100% knockout ratio. This is the first time, I could be wrong. Now, if I'm wrong, comment in the comment section. But this is the first time I've seen where a fighter has a 100% knockout ratio. That is insane, people. Insane. Okay, so what do you think is going to happen when Bivol comes against and locks horns with this guy? You know what I'm saying? Dmitry Bivol, he's more of a methodical, scientific fighter. He's going to bounce around. He has good ring IQ and good foot movement and good pivots. And, he's real quick. And if he gets in that pocket and gets you hurt, he's going to go for it. So he can stop Beterbiev, but the question is, what's been circulating and what I've been seeing in different chat rooms on FB and different boxing forums is people don't think that Bivol has enough power to trouble Beterbiev. And that's always an issue in boxing. Do you have enough power to make your opponent respect you? Because if your opponent does not respect your punching power and he just coming in, that's going to be kind of a bad situation for you if you don't have enough power to keep him at bay. I do think that Dmitry Bivol, although he might not be what you call he might have had the power of an Ezra Charles, who was from Cincinnati and back in the day, a legendary boxer, a light heavyweight. Ezra Charles had a lot of power, but he also had a lot of finesse and a lot of footwork and a lot of other fundamental skills that align with everything else he did, just like Evander Holyfield, light heavyweight to cruiserweight. He was very, very smart, but he also had a lot of power to stop a fight. You know what I'm saying? He could box you for a couple rounds, and then maybe 5, 6 rounds in, he's gonna take you into deep waters and drown you. That's just my me using a phrase, but not, you know what I'm saying. So basically, do you think that Bivol has that to where he can stop Beterbiev mid rounds to late rounds, get him in the deep end, and try to drown him with his style? Or will it be a situation where Beterbiev is so determined and those punches are not affecting him, and he's just coming in, and he's willing to take a few punches from Bivol in order to return two or three of his. Because when he does hit you, it's pretty devastating. We saw that in the past. We saw in the last four fights, we saw Bivol fight more higher class resume opponents than Bivol. We saw the last fight with Beterbiev when he fought Callum Smith, who was no pushover. Callum Smith had some good moments, but eventually, Beterbiev, once he starts to get you hurt and he gets in that rhythm, it's going to be trouble. So, like I said, with a 100% knockout ratio, once again, he had a knockout when it came to Callum Smith. Prior to that, fighting Anthony Yarde, no pushover. He was very game for the fight. Had a lot of good moments in that fight against Beterbiev. But eventually, once Beterbiev starts turning up that notch and he gets in that rhythm, he gets you in that zone and his focus is on. It's on and popping every single time with that man. And he was able to KO Anthony Yarde. And prior to that, he fought another guy who was no pushover, and Joe Smith Jr. And unfortunately, the result was the same. Another knockout for Artur Beterbiev. So far, this man almost seems like he's a boogeyman of the light heavyweight division, or almost like that Terminator. Like, can you really stop this man? You know, who will be the first? Will it be Bivol, or will it not be Bivol? Now, we saw Bivol take on a legend from a lighter weight class of 168, who moved up to 175 pounds when Canelo Alvarez went from 168, stepping up his weight to 175 to fight Dmitry Bivol. Some people say it was a situation of Canelo daring to be great, to come from a lighter weight class up to a higher weight class to fight him. Other people digress and say that he looked at Bivol like he was a cherry pick, and that Bivol, although he's good and technically good, they didn't think that he had the power that would trouble Canelo Alvarez, and Canelo felt that his power wasn't enough to give him issues, so he was willing to take on a fighting style like Bivol, whereas he has not fought another power puncher with a size like a David Benavidez, so to speak. So I don't know what your opinion is on that, but a lot of people feel like Bivol was a cherry pick for Canelo. I'm not saying that that's the case, but that's how some people feel. So if that's how you feel, explain why in the comment section below. And also, if you feel like he was daring to be great when he did step up to fight Dmitry Bivol, when Canelo did, comment in that comment section below. I'd like to know your opinions. I'd like you to weigh in like you do, because I feel like everybody who loves boxing, we learn from each other. I'm still learning too. I learn a lot of things all the time in these boxing chat room groups. Like somebody told me today, the late great Aaron Pryor from Cincinnati, that Muhammad Ali was one of the main guys that put him in the forefront of boxing. And I thought that was very interesting to know. Like, wow, Muhammad Ali, a legend out of Louisville, Kentucky, which is about roughly 100 miles, 110 miles south of Cincinnati here. Everybody knows who Muhammad Ali is. If you like boxing and you don't know who Muhammad Ali is, I don't know what to say. People call him the greatest of all times. And personally, he was before my time and in my dad's time. But I feel like looking back at everything he did on YouTube with the fighting, in the ring, outside the ring, I feel like he is the greatest. He just was something special, his style and everything. Muhammad Ali, to me, will never be another. I'm also a huge fan of Sugar Ray Leonard. But as a favorite in my time that I actually saw in real time, of course, is heavyweight Mike Tyson. And if you go back a couple of episodes on YouTube, I do a video all about Mike Tyson and how I started out being a fan of boxing at the age of 8 years old and why I like boxing so much. It's due to Mike Tyson, it's due to my dad and my late great uncle William Price. They're the reason why I like boxing to this day. Um, so let's jump back to this Beterbiev and Bivol situation. Bivol, his last fight, he looked good. He was able to stop his opponent within the distance, whereas some people might have thought it would be another situation where Bivol was going 12 rounds. But he was able to stop his guy, within the distance of the fight, and then never saw round 11 or round 12. So with these two different styles, it's hard for me to give a prediction because if I have to speak on it, I would have to say that the early rounds from round 1 to round 5 to round 6 are best if Beterbiev can end it. Where I think is if it goes past round 6 to round 7, 8, and 9, I think that the pace of Bivol will be ongoing every round. Like he's going to stay at a certain, so to speak, a certain algorithm or certain rhythm to where his output is going to be very similar every round. He's going to have a pretty nice punch output. He's going to have a pretty good percentage of landed punches. He's very accurate. He's very precise with his punch placement, where he's placing his punches on his opponent. With Beterbiev, he's very precise as well. But the way he hits you and the angles that he lands his punches are they're not conventional. He's just so different. I can't even put him in terms. Like he's not necessarily he's a puncher with some boxing technique, but he's not. It's kind of like brawler style, like a brawler puncher maybe. I don't know what you would consider the style of Beterbiev. So if you have a style on what he's called, comment in the comment section below. What do you consider the style of Beterbiev? What is that known as? Like what category? You got your sluggers, like your Mike Tysons and your Joe Frazier's, but then you got your boxer punchers like Lennox Lewis, George Foreman, Anthony Joshua, Holyfield. So what category do you consider Beterbiev? That's what I've been trying to think. Like I've never seen a style like his before. It's just so different, and he's a very, very dangerous guy. So October the 12th, definitely make sure you don't miss this fight, fellas and ladies that are fans of boxing. To me, it could be potentially, if not the fight of the year, it'd be like that second running. Maybe Fury versus Usyk was the fight of this year, and the Bivol versus Beterbiev will be number 2. But it's going to be up there. It has a potential to be the fight of the year. But at worst, to me, it would be the second best fight of 2024, in my opinion. And also in December, we got the rematch with Tyson Fury versus Usyk. And Tyson Fury says he will get redemption and he will win this fight because he lost his very first fight versus Usyk. And he said this time he's going for the knockout like he did with Deontay Wilder. Do you think that Tyson Fury will knock out Usyk in December? Now, here's my thing. He was letting the smaller Usyk back him up in their first fight. His very smart angles that Usyk uses, he was able to push the much taller 6'9", 270 whatever pounds Fury on his back foot and get him in trouble. Now, in the rematch, if Fury is going to execute the crunk style that he learned from Sugar Hill Stewart and apply that to fighting Usyk, I think either way it goes is going to be an issue. Because I think that him putting Usyk back, there's going to be more issues. That Usyk is going to use his lateral foot movement. He knows how to go back. He's not going to go back in a straight line. He's going to kind of sidestep left and right. He's too smart for that. And I think that the bigger fighter that coming forward, like Fury, that if he gets overzealous and he's swinging these big old punches, that he could throw one or two punches too wide, or one punch could overextend. And him doing that and missing the target, all this is open. And Usyk being as fast as he is, any little mistake that Fury makes, Usyk is going to capitalize on that. It's going to be a better rematch to me than the first fight was. But I still see Usyk stopping Fury in the rematch. That's my prediction, that he'll stop him earlier because he knew last fight he stepped on the gas. You know, Usyk usually takes a while to feel you out, and then he starts to slowly go into gear and go up and up as the fight goes on. I think in the rematch, Usyk may try to close the show a little earlier because he knows there will be a sense of urgency on the side of Fury and Team Fury, that they'll want the knockout, and Fury's going to come on that front foot, and it could be all wrong. It could be the best game plan ever, or it could be the worst game plan ever. It could be one of those things that it could be a disaster, or it could be the best thing. So I don't know. I mean, that's another fight that I'm like, it's hard to call, but I'm gonna edge Usyk because I felt like him winning the first fight, being a much smaller opponent, and him being able to hurt a much bigger Tyson Fury, he now knows I can hurt the bigger man. He now knows I beat this bigger man. So the mental is going to be on the side of Usyk, in my opinion. But I feel like Fury's did pretty good with coping with his loss. Although I feel like he didn't give credit to Usyk like he should have. He seems to be coping with the loss pretty good. Now he's still saying stuff like, well, sometimes it's Fury, but sometimes it's Fury's fan base or his promoter are saying that when he's at his best, Tyson Fury will not lose. Okay. I think if any fighter is at their best, in most cases, they won't lose. So I don't understand why with Tyson Fury, he always has that small gap of, he has that small area where there's some type of scapegoat on why he would lose. It's like, for instance, if Anthony Joshua is the best Anthony Joshua, he probably wouldn't have lost against Dubois recently. I mean, that's just keeping it real. But AJ said, hey, the better man won, which was Dubois. But if Fury is to lose this rematch, I think that'll be what a lot of people will try to project out here in the boxing forums and stuff. They'll say, oh, Fury didn't train as good as he could have, or maybe he wasn't able to sleep and eat like he should, or I think it's going to be some type of small thing they're going to put out there on why he loses, if he does lose, and not give credit to Usyk for the second time. And I don't think that's cool. I think, hey, the better man wins regardless. I mean, if it's your fault that you didn't train like you should have, that you were sleeping in a little bit later and getting up late and not eating your nutritional diet as you should have, that falls back on you. You can't make it seem like, oh, well, I didn't get to train like I should have, or my nutrition wasn't like it should have. It's like, okay, I understand that, but that's your downfall because of your decision. So don't try to take away from the person who beats you due to your lack of things you didn't do. So basically, hey, y'all better be ready for that fight in about a week or so with Dmitry Bivol on the 12th versus Artur Beterbiev. And as always, hit the like, subscribe, bell notification, and I'll catch you on the next round. Peace. That's a wrap.